This is Smarter San Diego TV.
Here is what they don't want you to know.
Owning a home is the cornerstone of any good financial plan or retirement strategy. I mean, that's the real reason we buy real estate.
You've got to be smarter if you want to be successful. That's what this show is
This is
for.
going to blow your mind. You're going to share this with everyone you know.
I guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else.
If you do nothing else in your lifetime to save for retirement other than own your home free and clear, you're going to be okay.
And now, here's your host, Derek Evans.
Welcome to Smarter San Diego TV. This is the place. We're in here today where you get smarter. And it's all commercial free. My co-host, Rebecca Peters, in the green screen room.
Hello,
What's up, Beck?
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Doing well.
You seem a little bit timid all by yourself
Well,
in the
I
green
know.
screen room.
I'm in the naughty corner today. What did I do?
I don't know what you did, but I tell you what, there's been a lot going on in the world lately.
Yes,
Paris.
unfortunately.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
Bummer, just a real bummer. But now there's all of this refugee talk. People are bombing other people. I'm curious what your opinion is, because I've heard that England is sort of the come one, come all for refugees. Is that right?
So it seems. I'm not sure how legal or how welcomed it is.
Come on,
by
Attorney
the
Peters,
English.
tell us.
But yeah, they have a lot of different nationalities living in England. It seems like people just send them over to England through the channel, all done illegally, but
A lot of people are pretty fired up. And then, of course, we have what happened in Paris that we're circling back to, and what they did. They immediately, launched an airstrike against
Yeah.
ISIS. And so there's two kind of really big, I think, symbols of humanity that are taking place right now. The first one, let's go with France. Not known for their military. They're attacked, brutal attack, horrific terrorism that was displayed in Paris. And they immediately bomb the people who did it, or the people who they think did it. There's an ancient Zen proverb, and I don't remember it exactly, but essentially I'll sum it up. It goes something like this. The person who gets punched is the one who gets to decide whether or not the continuum of hate and anger goes forward or not. So that's a really important piece, I think, for all of humanity right now, that we're trying to decide, what's the right thing to do? Is the right thing to do to say, no, we're not going to be like you. We're not going to, take blood in this situation,
yeah.
or not. And then with the refugees, it's sort of the same thing. It's another big macro issue where people are having to make a decision about, do we say, hey, we know 99% of these people are good people who just once were living a normal life and now they're
they
not.
just need help.
Yeah, think about it. I mean, there's a lot of these people, they're families. They had a car, they had a house, they had a job. All of a sudden, everything's blowing up around them. There's like 5 different factions of Islam all fighting each other in Syria. An old king, if you will, who is also fighting all of those different people. And their life just got destroyed right in front of them. So do you say, no, we can't take you because one of you might be bad? That just doesn't seem right to me.
It doesn't seem right to me either. I think about it from the aspect, what if this happened in California? What if this happened in San Diego, where
Yeah.
1 minute everything is glorious, we're driving top down the freeway, we're eating our In-N-Out burgers, and then the next minute, everything's up in arms and we have to leave.
Right.
We want people to help us, right? We
Yeah.
don't want to be stuck on the streets or, trying to swim across the ocean or across a border somewhere with guns in our face.
I think
try
we're
to
supposed to
about it
help
from
one
that
another.
aspect.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to help one another. That's
Yeah.
the point. I also don't believe that these guys we're fighting are sophisticated enough to create some grandiose plan and organize millions of people to go do this one thing so they can slide people in. Listen, if they want to get someone to the United States, they're already here. It's
Yeah.
not that hard.
I think they're just taking advantage of a situation that's going on in the world. That's-
I don't know. It's just sad for me to see us not want to help people, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Especially people who need it. All right. Well,
Enough about politics.
Can we lighten the load a little bit for today's show?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a serious deal. It's 2 really big macro issues. I want to see us come out on the right side of it.
Yeah.
We got some really cool guests coming in today.
We do.
Daniel Buksa is here with Chris Cano, and Chris is a really funny guy. He totally disagrees with me on what we're just talking about.
Really?
Yeah. He served this country. And he continues to serve those who serve with Veterans United, which is a really cool organization. They help veterans. They're VA loan experts. He's going to talk about the myth, the VA loan myths and stuff like that today, which is going to be cool. Jeffrey Kahn.
I'm excited about this segment.
Have you met Jeffrey Kahn yet?
Yes, I haven't been on TV with him, but I've helped him get his makeup ready with Nikki.
Oh, okay.
For previous shows.
We don't wear makeup on this. Men, I don't know what you're doing. Anyway,
I don't know.
So Jeffrey Kahn, board certified tax attorney, this guy knows everything about taxes. Does not need to look anything up. It's savantish. It's seriously like he's the tax Rain Man. When we prepare for these shows, he emailed me this morning, what are we going to talk about today? I mean, he's not spending any time looking this stuff up. Comes in, knows all the answers. Just crazy.
Yeah.
So
and that's why I'm excited to hear his segment, because it's the end of the year and I need to know what the hell I'm supposed to be doing with my taxes and I've been neglecting for the last 10 months.
Did you just cuss? What's the matter with you? You cussing on TV? You cusser? Anthony Manzon is here today.
Yes.
Now, what you may not know about Anthony, he's a young guy, top producing real estate agent here in San Diego, 26 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, married to wife Regina, and he's also he's a break dancer.
Oh.
So it's always interesting when you find out sort of what people are special talents are and stuff like that. Anthony is a break dancer. So today, I'm not sure where we're gonna have him do this yet, but we're gonna have him break dance.
So is he gonna come in and actually do it like in his nice, vibrant colored suit, just get down?
I don't know what he's wearing or what he's gonna need to change into, or for that matter, where in the studio he's going to do it. But we are gonna have him break dance today. So we'll see that today on Smarter San Diego TV. And then we're going to do the real estate debate.
Yeah.
So that's always one of my favorite roundtable discussions. We're going to do it right here. Got some great real estate agents coming on the show. Dale Entrekin, my buddy from SynergyOne Lending, is co-hosting with me. So that should be pretty interesting. And you're actually going to be involved today in the real estate debate.
I was going to say, I'm excited to actually get to hang out with you guys during the real estate debate and see what it's all about.
Yeah. Now, you're not going to be a panelist on the real estate debate, so sorry if that's what you're hoping for. But you are going to do your gig, do your thing. We are going to use the green screen. We are going to make you smarter than everyone else. Time for me to get the jacket on. It's time to start the show.
The next guest on Smarter San Diego TV is our Santee community correspondent, joined by a special guest from Veterans United. Please welcome Daniel Buksa and Chris Cano.
What's up, fellas? How you doing? Life is treating us extremely well.
All right. Great to have you guys here on the show. Now, Daniel, you wanted to bring Chris on today.
Absolutely.
Tell us why.
Just very excited to have Chris Cano and Veterans United being big partners with us. Chris is extremely passionate about what he does, and no one's out there really helping veterans the way that Chris does. And I'm just extremely fortunate to be partnered with great people like Chris Cano and his whole crew as well. They're just absolutely amazing people, and our clients are very fortunate to be able to work with them.
Okay, great stuff. How's that sound, Chris?
That's amazing.
Not bad, huh?
Can I get that in an email? Frame
Got it on video.
Hey,
I need to frame this video somehow. Put it on my wall.
That's from the heart.
Thank you.
Just on replay.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Chris.
Yep.
I've known about Veterans United since it was Novastar Financial, okay? However many years ago that was.
Yeah.
I know the guys who started the company. It was all about values from the very beginning.
Sure.
It's great to have you on the program now so that you can talk about those values, but also help us sort of demystify some of those VA loan myths that might still be out there.
Awesome. Well, it's first and foremost a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us and for the kind introduction. That means a lot. Our company is based on helping military members, and the branch network is actually fairly new. Veterans United has been around for a while, as you've mentioned, but the branch network concept is fairly new. So getting branch managers and getting more out into the community, getting away from kind of the internet company that we started off as, and relating more with the military community, our veterans and whatnot, is kind of where we're shifting focus. So being a 10-year sailor, submarine guy out of Pearl Harbor, I said, let's get busy helping these guys. So here I am in San Diego, meeting cool guys like Daniel Buksa and Mission Realty Group. So we're having some fun so far.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So are you still, I know at one point you were running the Hawaii
Yep,
branch,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And are you running both Hawaii and San Diego?
Well, I'm the branch manager for Veterans United San Diego. In Hawaii, I still act as the director of hiring and programs, and I'm kind of responsible for the production of both branches. I do sales training with the loan officers. Because we pride ourselves in hiring military members, there's a lot of training that goes into that. We like the men and women who, fresh out of the military, take off the uniforms and put on a VU polo. So the training curve is, I guess, probably about 2 to 3 months longer than your average mortgage individual who's been in the industry for a while. So
Okay, that makes sense.
That's my court.
And you guys are just doing VA loans, right?
95% of the business we do is VA.
That's almost entirely VA.
Almost entirely, yeah. We take a lot of pride in making that our focus, so staying sharp in that arena. The conventional FHA, USDA, we do it, but not as well as we do the VA.
Let's talk about the VA loan.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of people, a lot of real estate agents out there, Daniel,
Right.
who don't understand the intricacies of the VA loan. So
Sure.
tell us about some of those myths that you can debunk.
Sure. So unfortunately, a lot of military members don't understand the VA because us individuals in the industry don't keep up with it. You're right. Back in about even 6-7 years ago, the VA wasn't what it is today. And this most recent year, it's gone from 2% to making up 5% of the mortgages that are out there. So
Wow.
it's more than
That's
doubling at this pace
gone
right
up
now.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
Wow.
quite a bit.
That's good.
That's amazing. It's a fantastic thing, especially because over the last 6 years, it's been the one program with the least amount of foreclosures. So we have a great group of individuals here financing their homes for 30 years and not defaulting like some of the other programs. Not to mention the post 9/11 veterans that are getting out right now. They're a younger demographic. The average age of veterans in America right now is about 64, 65, with less than 1% being under 35 years old. Well, that is shifting tremendously now in the generation we're in. And a lot of the members getting out of the military right now are younger. They're going to be home buyers. So, companies like Mission Realty Group, Veterans United, we're getting aggressive with educating these guys and gals, and not making the same mistakes that some of our forefathers made and not understanding the benefit and utilizing it. So
Yeah, and that's the thing, because the VA loan is really the best loan out there. And
Yes.
there's nothing that's better than 100%, no MI,
Sure.
etc.
sure.
But a lot of people think that there's problems with the VA loan.
Yeah.
That it's hard to get one. It takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to ask for tons of documentation. Is any of that stuff true?
It could be true if you're working with a team that doesn't understand the VA. So what we always encourage our military members to do is first and foremost seek out how many VA loans your lender has done in the past, what kind of market share they make up, and along with your real estate agent as well, because otherwise the next conversation they're going to have with you is how great the conventional loan is if they don't specialize in VA. But right now we're closing loans right around the 20-day mark, 25-day mark. Even with some of the new things with TRID coming out, a lot of the real estate community was getting scared with.
I could vouch, having 3 escrows open with Veterans United right now. They are on top of their A game right now.
Awesome.
Again, that goes back to the 95% of the business we do being VA. Between Hawaii and San Diego, we'll make up $500 million in VA loans in 2015. So we're not. This is an amateur
business.
hour. This is something we do. So whenever we pass on that knowledge to the loan officers that we hire out of the military, they're taking on that sense of ownership and that pride and being the best at what they have. But you're right. A lot of myths out there. A lot of people thinking you can only use a VA home loan once. A lot of people coming to San Diego reporting freshly thinking, well, I got to refinance at home in Texas or Virginia before I can use it again. That's one thing that we debunk in our seminars as well. And, just the fact, like you said, the turn times. That's what scares the real estate agents to death. Why would I accept this offer when, it's going to take so long to close? So it's our job for buyers, agents, and lenders to make sure that we're educating not just the veteran, but the individuals accepting these contracts.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, what would you say? You were a sailor for 10 years.
Sure.
How many people in the military know that the VA loan even exists?
Unfortunately, not a lot of us. I don't know what it is, but people think that it's a VA loan for veterans, and they think that veterans are people out of the military. So a lot of my active duty sailors, comrades, shipmates, Marines, they think that you have to be out of the service to use this product. The truth is, the moment you put on that uniform and you start serving, you are a veteran. You're an active duty veteran, but you're a veteran.
Right.
So we're not getting educated like we are on the GI Bill, tuition assistance. And the truth be told, our military has government housing. So what good would it really do our military to motivate our military to buy houses when they do so well recollecting that BAH that they give for our individuals to live on post? Not saying that's what they're doing, but it's our jobs to get out there and educate and say, hey, you have an option.
Okay,
Yeah.
great stuff. Thank you so much for being here, Chris.
Thanks, Derek.
Really appreciate
Pleasure
your time.
being here.
Thank you for serving
Absolutely.
this country. Really
Thank
appreciate
you. Means a lot.
Daniel, great
Thank
stuff,
you,
man.
brother.
Thanks for bringing Chris in. Really
Awesome.
appreciate your time. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else. Commercial free.
The next guest on Smarter San Diego TV is a board-certified tax attorney and very talented blogger. Please welcome Jeffrey Kahn.
Jeffrey Kahn is here. What's up, man?
Yes. Hi, Derek. Nice to
doing?
see you.
Good to see you too, brother.
Yeah.
Year-end tax tips. You're always crucial with these. Every year you've got great tips for people at the end of the year, before they're filing taxes, before it's too late to make any changes. What have you got for 2015?
That's right. Well, I got a number of things. Okay. So first of all, deductions. Everyone has deductions. Everyone loves deductions.
Of course.
So what you need to look at is whether you want to pick up more deductions this year or defer those deductions into next year. Okay.
You can do that.
You could do that. You could do that.
That's interesting.
Okay. And so one of the most common deductions to do that with is mortgage interest.
You can do that with mortgage interest?
That's right. Everyone's got a mortgage. And every time you send in your monthly payment on that mortgage, you're paying for principal, you're paying for interest, and the escrow for property taxes, insurance, that kind of stuff. It's that interest portion that you'll get a deduction for, but only in the year that you make the payment. So, for those people who just schedule their monthly mortgage payments, say like the first of every month, you make your December 1st payment, the interest that you paid on that payment will be included in 2015. But when you make your next scheduled payment on January 1st, since you're making that in 2016, that interest that you paid for will now get credited to 2016. So here's a trick. If you're looking to accelerate deductions into 2015, why not make that January 1st payment at the end of December? As long as your mortgage company cashes that check or gets the payment before January 1st, you've just paid in your December interest in 2015 and essentially got an extra 1 month's worth of mortgage interest to deduct on your 2015 taxes.
Very interesting. So you would do that if you were in a situation where you knew you were going to be in a lower tax bracket, let's say this year versus next year, or you anticipated that, or where you needed an additional deduction? Why would someone want to do that?
Well, you'd want to accelerate deductions if basically you want to pay less in taxes. You want to lower your taxable income for 2015, so you want to accelerate deductions. But let's say like next year, you're going to be in a higher tax bracket. To have a tax deduction next year is going to be more valuable because it's worth more.
Right.
It's worth more. So you may want to defer making that payment or making it when you normally do, January 1st.
Okay.
And get the deduction next year.
Okay, so if you think you're going to make more next year, then go ahead and wait and make the payment on schedule.
Yep.
If you think you did really good this year and you don't know if you'll do so well next year, go ahead and take it right now.
Correct.
Bird in the hand, Rebecca. Bird in the hand. I hope you're listening.
Listening, oh yeah.
Good stuff. So Jeff, obviously this has been a big year. The last couple of years have been big for Obamacare. Cover California, let's call it for California. So is there anything that we need to know about 2016? Is that the year that it all kicks off, or what do we need to know from a tax perspective about Cover California for 2016?
Well, I think the big thing from a tax perspective is Covered California does something really nice. You know, the whole confusing thing about Obamacare is getting that tax credit. If you're entitled to it, how much, and it's just a complete mess in doing that. I think you need a supercomputer, really, to figure it out, okay? But Covered California does something really nice. And basically, for those people who have filed their 2014 tax return, okay, IRS has a record of what you earned last year. Covered California says if you go to their website and you complete their consent allowing the IRS to release your 2014 tax information to them, they will then go ahead and compute how much your credit is and inform you of that. And now you have, from Covered California, the amount of the tax credit you're entitled to claim. So I think that's a great tool for anyone who's on Covered California to go ahead and subscribe to.
Absolutely.
I know I will be.
Yeah. Beck, question of the week.
Question
We're ready for it.
Question of the week. can I claim my cat on my taxes? No, just kidding. Just kidding. But seriously.
People probably try to do that, don't they?
Hey, she's like my child.
Not with you.
She's like my child. She's my baby.
You're dependent, right?
Yeah. But who can I legitimately claim as a dependent on my taxes?
It's a good question.
Okay, that is a good
A
question.
lot of people try to claim lots of stuff.
I know.
I know you know this.
I do know
So
that.
who can we legitimately claim as a dependent?
Well, the IRS basically classifies it into two categories: children, and then we'll say other relatives.
Okay.
So with the children, it's pretty well much straightforward that you have to provide more than half the support, it's usually not a problem except when you've got divorced parents. Because now there's an issue as to who legally is entitled to take an exemption. Many times it's dictated in the marital settlement agreement who's going to take the exemption. And there could be weird formulas like, okay, we had one child together, so in the odd years you get the exemption, in the even years I get the exemption.
Oh, and you can do that?
Yeah, you could do that.
Oh, I didn't
you
know
could
you could
go
do
ahead
that.
and do that, okay? But absent what the marital settlement says, and the IRS has got some tricky rules, because what they usually figure is whoever has custody of the child is the one who presumably gets the exemption. So if you don't have custody, but you're furnishing more than half the support, and the marital settlement agreement is silent as to who gets the exemption, then there's actually a separate form, there's information you need to provide to the IRS with your tax return in order to get that exemption for the child.
Yeah, I would imagine if both, let's say, mom and dad, both claim child as a dependent, IRS is going to know.
Oh, they're going to pick that up. Because remember, whenever you list somebody as a dependent, you have to include their social security number. And of course, all it takes is the IRS computer to run a matching program on those dependents, and they see, oh, there's two returns claiming the same social security number as a dependent.
That would be
that's
no
what
bueno.
triggers it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no cats. Children, usually not a problem unless there's a divorce.
Correct.
And the parents aren't quite sure what to do. What about adults? Let's say I'm taking care of grandma, or someone else maybe has a disability, and I take care of them full time. Can I claim someone like that as a dependent?
Possibly. There's just a lot of restrictions and limitations and requirements that you need to go ahead and look into. So usually for these other relatives, they need to live with you. However, there is an exception for parents. So mom or dad, you're supporting them, and they are in perhaps an assisted living home or something like that. Even though they don't live with you, if you meet the requirements where you furnish more than half their support, they don't earn income above a certain threshold, then you can still claim them as an exemption. But for the most part, for other relatives, they're going to have to live with you.
Okay. All right. Great stuff. Jeff, any more last second year-end tax tips? You got the mortgage deduction. Is there anything else we should be thinking about?
Oh yeah, everyone, before the end of the year, clean your garages out, clean your closets out, because you've probably got tax deductions in there. And the key is, when you go ahead and collect those items and you bring them over to charities that do accept, these items, what you want to do is don't just throw all the clothes in a bag and bring them over and get your receipt and put on it one bag of clothes. Because a year, 2 years later, when you're selected for an audit, how are you supposed to prove what was in that bag and the estimated values of what you gave? So what you want to do is you want to do an itemized list of what it is that you're giving, okay? Kind of identify what you believe the estimated value is based on the condition and style and stuff like that. And then I would even take it one step further. Everyone's got smartphones. Everyone's taking selfies of themselves. Why not, before you put those clothes in the bag and you have your itemized list, lay them out on the dining room table, take pictures of the clothes, and keep it with the list. I think it's a great idea.
Spoken like a true tax attorney badass, Rebecca.
Yeah.
That's how you keep the IRS off your back right there.
That's right.
I'm taking a lot of notes this segment.
Take notes for sure. Jeff, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks, Derek.
It's board certified tax attorney Jeffrey Kahn. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else.
The next guest on Smarter San Diego TV is our Chula Vista community correspondent. Please welcome back to the show, Anthony Manzon.
Manzon is in the house. What's up, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having us again.
Great to have you here today. I'm going to get a little breakdancing out of you here in a little bit.
Oh, shoot.
I've been telling everybody about it all show.
Yeah.
But today we're here to talk about, is it a good idea to consider selling your home during the holidays? I think a lot of people think that it's not. So I'm curious as to what you think.
You know, to be honest with you, selling your home during the holidays is a great idea.
Really?
Yeah, it really is. You know, for one, when you're putting your home on the market, just like you and I, if we were to sell our home, our idea is let's just wait till January. Let's wait till 2016. Let's wait till after the holidays so that we can just get it all over with, you know, once the year starts. With that being said, if everybody, or let's say 90% of the market is thinking about listing in January, it makes sense that you want to put your home on the market when there's less competition.
Okay.
Less competition usually means more offers because buyers don't have as many options to pick from because you're one of the only homes on the market.
Okay, that's very, very true. Now, do you have, are we there yet? Is it to the point where, we're close to the holidays, the main holiday season right now. Is it now still the right time to put the home on the market, or do you need to get it on right before the holiday season starts?
You know, really, buyers, they're there. There's always going to be someone out there that's ready to buy a home and needs to be in the house maybe before the holidays, and they want to spend their first Thanksgiving in their house, or they want to spend their first Christmas in their house. You know, whether you list today, and let's say there's a 30-day escrow, you want to be in, or they want to be in before the close of escrow. And then also there's going to be buyers out there that can close faster than 30 days, so they may be able to close in 10 or 15 days. Really, in order to sell your house, you have to have the opportunity, which is to put your house on the market first in order to find those buyers.
I'm sure that you, and I think I saw something about a mega open house recently, which means you probably sold a home.
Yes.
In this market already. So did you experience that already in this market this year, right now?
So, great question. The holidays don't really affect my business at all. When we put homes on the market, we've created the system, our mega open house system, I'm sure you guys have always heard about, is that we pre-market the property so much that the day it hits the market, we already have so much interest on the property. Usually it sells the first weekend. So for the house that you're talking about on 2026 Mount Bullion, it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square foot townhome. First weekend on the market, got offers in, got it sold.
Mega open house.
6 days.
Done, son. Stick a fork in it.
Yeah. That's how we do.
That's how it's done.
Yeah.
And we have talked about the mega open house many times before because it's something that you do that I think is really unique. It's like a big party basically that you throw for the neighborhood. Gets tons of people there, tons of activity. You sort of hold off on letting people see it until then, so you build up demand. It's really a brilliant idea. Have people started stealing that from you yet in the marketplace? I know they're going to.
To be honest, I haven't seen it yet. I mean, if there are people doing it, they're probably not doing it at the level that we do. We just purchased, which is pretty crazy, we just purchased 2, I believe they're like 35-foot mega open house flags. When we hang them up, they're actually bigger than the house, so the neighbors on the other side is like, what is going on? And they come around and see the house. So we put those up, and it's funny because when other agents are selling homes in the neighborhood, they look at it and it's like, how do I compete with this? I just have a little A-frame just pointing them in. So it's pretty cool. You know, our idea is we just want to set the bar so high. If people want to compete with us, it's up to them, but we hold our own standards.
You guys have been doing that over and over all year long. Again, congratulations to you for that. Let me go to the other side of the coin though real quick. Because we're talking about sellers. Hey, it's a good time to sell because if you're capable of selling during the holidays, if it makes sense for you to be able to do it, you should, because you can take advantage of all the other sellers who say, wait till January, and then homes come on the market in January. But what about buyers? Let's flip the coin.
If you're a buyer, I mean, when you're looking at houses, whether you buy now or you wait till next year, that house that is meant for you, if you're ready to buy now, it's going to be there. If you're going to wait till after the holidays, it'll be there then. I say if you're a buyer looking to buy in today's market, take advantage of the low interest rate. I mean, look at the picture right now. Is now a good time to buy based on the interest rate? You can always wait till after the holidays, but what happens if the rate goes up? If you're buying also, the sellers who are selling during the holidays, they typically are more serious also because they want to sell their home and get it closed before the holidays or the end of the year. In addition, for buyers, one thing that my office and I have been talking about is we've been facing a lot of buyers recently that have been coming into the market really wanting to close before the end of the year so they can take advantage of the tax break. To write it off as home ownership.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's closing costs, things like that you can deduct. Mortgage interest that you pay right away can also be deducted. Okay, that makes sense. So is it mainly just a situation where you have to know that going into it as a buyer? I mean, there's nothing you can really prepare for in general going into any specific negotiation, but you just kind of have to be prepared for the fact that, hey, these sellers are probably getting multiple offers. Let's come with our best foot forward.
Yeah, just move forward. What I always advise my clients, they always come to me and say, what do you think I should put in the offer at? What do you think will take this house? My job is to provide them with the comps and let them make the best decision, what they value the home at. The number one question I ask them is, at what price would you not want to lose this house? So let's say, for instance, there was a house that's $500,000 and they say, what should I come in at? I say, if you come in at $500,000 and you find out you got outbid by $501,000, would that eat you up inside and at night would it be hard for you to sleep? If they say yes, then I typically advise them, then come in at the price you don't want to lose the home.
Okay, that's fantastic advice. Anthony Manzon from Team Manzon, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Team Manzon down in Chula Vista. Oh, wait a minute. This guy is going to break dance right now.
Welcome to the Real Estate Debate, where we debate the hottest topics in San Diego real estate. Let's meet today's panelists. Co-hosting today from SynergyOne Lending is Dale Entrekin. Guest number one is the co-owner of Silver's Realty, Lionel Silver. Guest number two, a realtor of Para Capital Group, Tyler Martin. Guest number three, the owner of Keller Williams Realty in North County, Mike Litton.
Thank you guys so much for being here today. Mike, Lionel, Tyler, Dale, of course. Good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah, great.
Thanks for coming to co-host again for Real Estate Debate, TV style.
That's right.
All right, today's going to be awesome because we're just going to, bunch of guys in here talking about real estate in San Diego. A little bit different format than we're used to, but I think we're going to have some good discussions today, Dale.
I know. How'd this work out that we have all guys here?
I don't know.
This is going to be interesting.
I don't think we've ever had this before, so we'll see if the testosterone levels can, make it interesting for us.
That's right.
First question of the day, fellas, is the temperature of the market in San Diego. I've been hearing a lot of things, both sides, scale of 1 to 10. Here's what I want to know. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being awful, 10 being amazing, how is the San Diego real estate market right now, Dale?
I think it depends on if you're a seller or a buyer.
Okay.
Really, I think if you're a seller, I personally think it's higher. I think you're probably in the 7-8 range.
Okay.
If you're a buyer, it's a little tougher. The inventory's not there, and it's a little more difficult to find that right house that doesn't have multiple offers when you're looking at it. So I think as a buyer, it's a little tougher to get what you're looking for right away. I think you got to put a little work in.
So overall, then you would say it's pretty healthy. Then if sellers are having a good time, then that would lead us to believe it's pretty healthy.
Yeah, I think overall, it's a healthy market. We've seen, obviously towards the end of the year, we're going to see the market slow down a little bit, just because this is that time of year that it does. But as far as everything goes throughout the year, we've seen price improvements year over year. You know, it's just that inventory's low, so it's definitely spurred, you know, a price increase. It just made it a little tougher to get buyers into homes.
Okay. Mike Litton, scale of 1 to 10. Shoot me straight, brother.
I think you're looking more to 6.
A 6.
Maybe a 7 if you're a seller. And the thing is, sellers absolutely have to price their property right. If a seller goes out there and tries to test the market, they're just going to hear crickets. And the reason for it is because buyers nowadays have, like 10 years ago, we would show up to show buyers homes and we'd have a list that met their search criteria. Today, they show up with a list for us. So literally, if a property is not priced, I mean, I've seen properties that were $10,000 over market, just sit there, absolutely sit there. And so I don't agree necessarily. I mean, I would say that it's probably a 5 for buyers, maybe a 6. What I would say is buyers are more picky than they've ever been. They're absolutely making sure that sellers come to them. I would say that the market's cooled off a lot more than most people realize, and I think we're going to see more of that in the coming year.
Really? Cooling off. Tyler, what do you think?
I'll agree with you, but one thing I can't stand is I have listings, you know, and I have my buyers that I work with. But if you don't have it priced right correctly, you're going to miss out. And you have to wait 30 days because the average days on market is longer than it usually was.
Right.
So now you're looking at, okay, well, if I don't price reduce after 30 days and I'm trying to sell my seller's home, they can send me a lower offer. They're more than happy to send a lower offer, but that reduction, boom, you're going to get a lot more hits. So if you don't price it right correctly and then it sits, you're going to get even a lower offer than you did for your sellers. And you're doing a disservice to yourself and your sellers that you're selling the home to.
Now, a lot of buyers nowadays don't want to haggle. They absolutely don't want to go back and forth.
No, we don't want to counter back and forth 4 times anymore. It's bam, bam.
And that's what I'm saying is sellers have to come to them.
Right.
They've got to be willing to come to them wherever the market is. They've got to be willing to come to them, and then buyers will jump.
Yeah, it has to be priced right. It goes back to that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I hate to agree with the panel because everyone seems to be.
It's okay to agree. Like,
well, we bring you in to disagree with everything.
Exactly, and I thought that I had my own opinion, and you guys we'd be going back and forth, but I agree with the fact. Well, first of all, 7, maybe 7.5 is probably where I think we're at. You definitely have to price your property right. Buyers are savvy, but they also know that there's not a lot of inventory. So if they do see a property, they're going to have to go after it. And as a seller, if they price their property too high, it's going to sit. But if you and depending on the price point, like if anything under $400,000, you're probably going to get multiple offers around the county. But when you start moving into the coastal areas and areas that people want to be at, you need to price your property right, because I think the values have really gone up in all the good areas in San Diego County, and maybe some of the areas in East County, they still need some catching up, and those price points are lower, and you're going to get more, multiple offers there. So the market's around a 7.
Around a 7. Yeah. So no one has said that the market's scolding hot on fire.
That's good information if you want to sell your home, but I think viewers want to know what should I do in this market if I want to sell or if I want to buy, and how is the market? If we're talking about the market, we have to let everyone know it's going up. Everything's going up. Consumer confidence is going up. Rates a little bit, but that's not really the big deal. You have home prices, median home prices going up. Everything's going up.
Along with rents as well.
Actually, I would disagree. Home builder confidence came out this morning, and it was down. It was down dramatically, and it was down. Yeah, it was down more than everybody expected.
I saw 80%.
So
on the
you're
National Association of Realtors.
Yeah, you're actually starting to see a lack of confidence starting to erode, and part of it is coming from all this stuff with the Fed on whether the Fed's going to raise or not.
Right.
And so there's a lack of confidence. People are scared. There's more money sitting off of Wall Street today than there's ever been in history in cash.
But for that first-time home buyer,
because they're scared.
They are getting into their homes. Their agents are showing them stuff. They want to get in this stuff before Christmas. They know rates might go up a little bit slightly, so they want to get in, and they want to get in now because they want that tax deduction for their interest on their home loan.
Yeah, I wanted to agree with something you said. Basically, that anything below about, in North County anyway, anything below about $500,000 is hot. As long as it's priced right, it's hot. Up above $500,000, you've got to be really careful, and you've got to be really value conscious where the buyer is concerned, if you're a seller.
I think
Well,
that's what Tyler's talking about
Yeah.
too. With first-time home buyers are going to be under 500 for probably the high percentage, and so I think within that there is a hotter market. I think it's that move up, like Lionel was saying, where you're going to see the tougher price points, and you got to be really, really detailed on why you're pricing it where it is.
And
Otherwise, it's going to sit.
We're also seeing condominiums, townhomes, that kind of thing, are actually outperforming in terms of price gains. They're actually outperforming in sales. They're outperforming single-family detached homes because a lot of San Diegans are being pushed into that realm because they're not able to buy, they're not able to find.
Priced out.
Like he was talking about inventory, that kind of thing. They're priced out and they're not able to find what they need in terms of utility.
Huh. So
I
people
think-
are going to condos.
I think we have two things working here with buyers. I think there's some buyers that are thinking, you know, interest rates are going to go up next year. We need to get in before we do get priced out. And then you've got probably other buyers that are on the fence going, you know, this market's been going up since late 2008. You know, how long is this going to last? Or is this going to be 2006 all over again, or 2008 all over again when we had that meltdown? So you've got those two kind of counteracting each other. I'll tell you this.
It's true. There's a lot of nervousness.
Though, and everybody on the panel would probably agree, if you don't get in within the next year, you're not going to see equity growth in your home or your condo. Everyone I've sold homes for in the last 2 years has made up to $100,000 of equity on their home. They're not going to see that in 2016. They'll see maybe close to 50 if you buy a 350 house, put some fixer-upper into it, you know, maybe update your kitchen, you know,
Like
have your
sweat
tax
equity, that kind of
deduction.
thing.
Yeah. I mean, you're buying first-time home buyers buying the turn, you know, key rehabbed homes that our city's seeing gentrification go on with all the flippers and rehabbers. That's great, but you know they're going to get priced out and not be able to get their offers accepted on something that is slightly maybe fixer-upable, where they can make a little bit more money in equity. But
I want to ask Dale a question because we haven't talked about the A word yet, affordability, which is always a big discussion in San Diego. It's been known, it's been publicized as being one of the least affordable places in the country to buy a home. And so I think a lot of people hear that and they go, yeah, it's true. I went to my boss's house and it's gorgeous, but it's $1 million. There's people who rent $1 million homes for $3,000 and they go, you know what, I'm good because if I bought this place, I'd be paying $7,000 or whatever when it all comes down to it. So Dale, from your perspective, the people you've been seeing buy homes lately, is there anything that sticks out to you? Are people buying too much house as a general rule, or are people well qualifying for these deals that are getting done today?
What I've come to see over the last, I'd say, year is that people are very conservative with what they're buying. They're very conservative with their payment point. I think in the past people were more willing to say, you know, I want to keep my payment around $2,500. And then they go look at homes that really didn't match that payment range, and they go, well, I'll pay $3,000. You know, I really like this house. I'll just not eat out. You know, and then they figure out a way to make it work. I think right now they're really sticking to those guns.
That's a good thing. That's a really good thing to hear. So let's make a quick assumption that we're not going to see an implosion like we did in 2008. Okay, let's say that's not going to happen. Is it time for the market to take a breather just naturally? We've seen so much equity run up. We've seen people getting rich since 2010, 2011. People were buying, flipping properties. A lot of investors I know, even small-time investors, buying a house a year, making tons of money. Is it time for that to stop?
It's not gonna. My main focus, I work with a lot of investors and rehab groups. I'll find them an REO, foreclosure through my REO accounts, my off-market stuff, and you know, I'll bird dog MLS listings and find something that's fixer-upable, and you know. So there's the husband and wife kind of couple that's doing their flips with their $500K in the bank, or they're using private money. And then there's the big funds that are, you know, have like 10 agents writing offers for them all day long and hoping something sticks. They're taking bigger bulk with less margins. So you're going to see a lot of the homes being taken up by those entities. So I don't think it's going to quit. I think they're going to actually make less margins. There's going to be more demand for those rehabable homes. But I think as far as 2016 is going, and you're going to see a little bit mellow out plateau of action.
Well, but I mean, rates are obviously.
I mean, we're at a 5-year cycle, and we're trying to push the 5-year cycle, right? So don't you think we're going to have a plateau? We talked about that earlier.
Well, I think ultimately it's the economy. You've got to look at, for instance, HP just announced 85,000 layoffs in the next 3 years. Qualcomm is reducing 15% of their workforce, and they're doing it in the next 24 months. You're looking at an absolute ton of companies right now that are announcing massive layoffs. The problem that you have is you have a labor participation rate that's at a 38-year low. You have a real shell of a recovery. We don't really have a recovery right now. What we have is something that's been propped up by interest rates that are lower than they should be, and a Fed that's intervening, and activist. Ultimately, what happens here is you only get to a certain point. You get to a certain point, and then you start losing jobs. You start shaving jobs off because Wall Street's screaming for profits. They've done all the cost cutting they can do. Now they're getting rid of jobs because the economy's not there to support it. So ultimately, what ends up happening is, you talked about affordability. San Diego County, the last 3 years, median income's down 4.05%.
Isn't that amazing? And
most people don't realize that.
Prices continue to go up a lot.
Yeah, and if you look at a graph of property values, and you look at and compare it to a graph of median income, you have that same delta that you had back in 2005, back in 2006, back in 2007. Yeah, you're starting to see families get in together and buy houses. You're starting to see all kinds of things happen out there because they have to get creative. They have to figure out a way. They got to live somewhere. Alan Nevin told us on one of my radio shows that even if we don't import one more person into San Diego County than we export, we grow by 25,000 people a year organically. But we're only building 5,000 to 6,000 new homes a year.
That's the big
Where
problem.
are these people going to go?
That's the big problem.
Yeah.
That's the big issue with San Diego County is, where are they going to live?
Yeah.
If they're going to live in rent, it still doesn't solve the problem, because you still have rents increasing 3 to 6% a year.
And then you've got millennials who are now coming into the age of buying homes that don't trust real estate. Because when they were growing up, when they were teenagers, late teens and early teens, mid-teens, they were watching their family lose their house. They were watching their friends' family lose their house. They were watching their grandparents lose their house. And that didn't work for them. Okay? So now you've got millennials that are coming in. I had a listing in San Marcos. We put it on the market for $409,000. We had 35 showings in 2.5 days and 12 offers. We sold it for $33,500 above asking. The people that bought it paid $442,500 for it. They qualified for $500,000 easy with their lender. Easy. That's going back to what you were talking about.
Very, very interesting, because we've seen prices go up a lot. It makes people nervous. We see interest rates have been low for a long time. People say it can't stay this way. But that part doesn't have to change. And here's what's really interesting, and I want to touch on this with you guys. Great group. I appreciate y'all being here, by the way. This has been amazing. But San Francisco. Anybody been to San Francisco recently, or even looked at real estate in San
We
Francisco?
have an office. Paracapital Group, my brokerage, has an office in Roseville.
It's crazy. But I look at that market and I go, how could this
It's
be
more
possible?
inflated than I think than
Way
here,
more.
yeah.
Way more. And you go, how's this possible? And then you realize, you look at it and you go, there's no place to build any new stuff.
Yeah.
There's zero. And San Diego County is quickly getting there. If you look at the number of new homes built, Mike, on a graph, get your graph out, the number of new homes built in San Diego County, look at that curve. And it's going to continue to go down. Now,
And it's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that right there is enough, potentially, to sustain the market. But I just feel like 2016 is going to be sort of a telltale year for us. It's going to really tell us where the demand is at. And if there is a housing crisis, there could be a housing crisis, by the way, that causes prices to go up. I mean, San Diego could become, the next San Francisco, the next New York City.
Well, we have to build a lot more jobs, and we've got to stem. Seriously, we've got to stem all the layoffs. Right. I mean, HP and Qualcomm are two of the biggest employers in San Diego County, and they're announcing huge layoffs. That's the problem. You don't have the same kind of confidence that you had before. But I'll tell you something else. You've got a rental crisis in San Diego County right now.
You do.
Yeah, because full employment's about 4.5% vacancy right now. Full occupancy is about 4.5% vacancy rate. We've been at less than 1% for 6 years. 1% or less.
And that's why the rents have just skyrocketed.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Last year.
With the higher, rents, with the rental increases going up, I think buyers that are, renters at this point need to be educated. They're not. They think that they have to pay a buyer's agent, like a realtor like myself or yourself, to help them find a home, but they don't. They don't realize that someone that's selling their home pays both of the agents, so they get all our time and expertise for free. being from a lending background like yourself, someone doesn't even realize they could buy a $300,000 home with an FHA loan and have an $1,800 payment. They could buy a $400,000 home with a $2,300 payment. Those are actual figures, and they're paying that in rent or more, and that's not without an HOA on a condo, but it's completely affordable. You don't even need good credit to get with FHA. What is it, 660 now?
You can go down below. You can go down to
580.
Yeah, 580. Just depends on the
Some
lender.
lenders.
Obviously the payments aren't exactly the same at 580, but 600, 620. You want to be over 640, but
Well, I think it's easy to
and
look
that's
at the
FICO
numbers.
score.
Yeah, FICO scores. Yeah, it's easy to look at the numbers and say, well, for what people are paying in rent, there are a lot of people who rent houses for $3,000, $2,800. I mean, all over the place. Even in Escondido or other places in North County, you'll rent house. People rent houses out there $3,500, $4,000. That's all over the place, and you can definitely buy a house for that amount. But I think the real question is, as Mike mentioned earlier, and as Dale alluded to as well, is that what percentage of that is their income? Is the house payment? What percentage of their income is that house payment? And that's the real question, because if we're seeing the median income go down, and it's consistently done that,
Yeah.
and it was only at $54,000 to begin with,
Right.
when we hit our peak.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're now down to $50,000 or less for average household income in San Diego, that's the thing that that's the question that's yet to be answered.
Well,
how long can that?
Let me share this
hold
with
up?
you. March of 2010, we hit a peak post recession, post Great Recession peak of employment in San Diego County. We now have less people in San Diego County employed than we did in March of 2010. It's steadily been going down.
Wow.
So now all of a sudden you start looking at interest rates, you start looking at affordability. A lot of the buyers nowadays, if you talk to them, a lot of the buyers nowadays are being kicked out of the nest, so to speak. They are having their rents raised, and or the landlord is selling the property and they're kicking them out of the nest, and they're having to make a decision. Do we go out and rent a property where rents are skyrocketing and going up much faster than payments, for instance, on homes? Or do we go out and look at the idea of buying? I have a couple right now, an older couple, that are buying a house. They're buying a house because their rent went up to an exorbitant rate and they're not going to pay it. They're done. They're protesting. So they're going out and buying a house. They're actually buying a couple of years before they should, because they had a short sale a few years ago. They actually should wait a couple of years, but they're squeezing this deal through so that they can make this thing happen. And it's $300 less than what their payment with HOA is $300 less than what it is.
So you can't blame them.
Than what the rent's going to.
They
No, I don't
wanna
blame them
wait.
at all.
Why would they wait at that point?
But what I'm getting at is that's going to be the underpinning of this market. You're going to see a lot of people.
That's going to push people over.
You're going to see a lot of people get pushed because of rent increases, and landlords that are coming in and selling. There's a ton of landlords that are coming in and selling right now because they're trying to get out while the getting's good. They're not excited about the future in San Diego County.
Well, let's take the opportunity then to go around and see. I would like to know what you guys think is going to happen in 2016. I know I haven't heard from you in a while. 2016 San Diego real estate market.
No, that's okay, Mike. You had some good points. I think we're going to probably, it'll be similar to 2015. I don't think we're gonna have a correction. I do see it happening. I mean, you just can't go 7-8 years of just seller's market and properties to continue to go up and up. It's going to happen probably maybe after the election, where maybe we'll have like a small correction. Probably maybe 1 or 2% increase is what I'm thinking.
So you still think the market will be up, just not as much deceleration?
Exactly.
Okay, Mike.
Flat.
2016 flat.
It's going to be flat. It's
Totally
going to be flat, except, and here's the wild card. If the Fed starts raising interest rates, you're going to see a run to maybe 3 months. You're going to see a run of people that are waiting for interest rates to go to 2% fixed for 30 years, right? And they find out all of a sudden that it's not going to happen, and they jump on the bandwagon. They get off the fence and they jump in. We see it every single time. It might last 6 months, but it'll probably be 2 to 3 months. It'll be a run. It'll be a spurt.
So there'll be a frenzy.
Yeah.
Mike, when interest rates go up, they go up. They'll go up a point in like 3 days. It's not like when they come down. So if interest rates go up a point, that's when we'll start seeing a correction. I don't think it's going to be appealing to people paying an extra point, and the Fed keeps threatening us that they're going to raise the rents at the end of this year or beginning of next year. That and one of the big businesses you mentioned, Qualcomm and HP. If we have any more layoffs, that can turn us into a downward. But if everything is kind of status quo in that, for that, I think we'll have a little bit of an increase.
Okay. Tyler, 2016?
Geez. Well, I disagree with you with consumer confidence. I think the people that are ready to buy, that have they're saving their bank statements and their W-2s, and they know what they want, they're savvy, they've been using the internet to their advantage, they've been talking to their real estate professional, they've been pre-approved to the lender, they're going to move in the next few months because they know that the demand for housing is increasing and rents are going up and all of that. If you're not part of that boat, you're going to be on the dinghy left behind, seeing no equity growth over 2016 because you haven't bought. So you're either going to be on the upswing or you're going to be still on the fence and you're not going to be doing anything. But I don't think you're going to see the gains of 2015. I think you're going to see it cut by 50% and a lot of more rehabbers out there. A lot more people are flipping homes.
Don't get caught on the dinghy.
Don't get caught on the dinghy.
Unless you're going to a big yacht.
Don't get caught on the dinghy. Dale, 2016, what do you expect, my friend?
Well, on the 2% fixed rate, those are the same people that are waiting for the shadow inventory to come out from the banks.
It'll be here any minute.
The shadow inventory, I'm waiting until all those banks bring those properties out, and then it'll just crash the market.
Something's got to get them off the fence, is what I'm getting at. And what happens is when interest rates go up, they jump off the fence. And historically, look at history. Historically, we've had a run anywhere from 2 to 6 months of real hyperactivity, and then it cools down. And
I think that we definitely have headwinds in the housing market this year. Okay. I think that it's more so. I mean, 2012 and 13 and 14 was just unbelievable, and it needs to slow down. It can't. Income cannot keep up. Household income, household wealth cannot keep up with house prices, so it's going to slow down. I see probably 2 to 3% in the next year. I think it's reasonable, and that's solely because of rent prices and because of inventory. I just don't think the inventory is there to produce a downturn or even a complete flattening out. I think you'll see months where it will flatten out, but year over year, I think you're going to see probably 2 to 3%.
Plus, you're going to see a lot of inventory with sellers wanting so much of a top dollar that there's not going to be that buyer that's going to make that deal.
Yeah. Yep. And
Good point.
That happens when you have a spread between the bid and the ask. That's usually when things cool off. It takes some time sometimes for the buyers and sellers to find one another, to find a common ground when we see a dichotomy like that. So great stuff, guys. Thank you all so much.
The buyer's market would be great,
wouldn't it? That would be something
great
fun.
For just a little bit, a little bit of time.
I've been waiting for it for a long time, and people keep telling me that you're going to keep waiting. That's it for the Real Estate Debate. Check us out at therealestatetedebate.com for more. Mike, thanks for coming in today, man.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate your time.
Enjoyed it.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you as well. Dale, sir. Yes, you're the man. Tyler.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. All right. That's it.
No, let's do it like this is real.
Close it?
Close it. Look into that camera.
Okay.
Oh.
Stay here.
Battery's about to die.
Yeah, we'll get it. Action.
Hey, great show, guys. That's a wrap. Jade, what's your schedule look like? Do you mind breaking down the set?
Not today, Derek. I'd love to, but there's waves out there. I gotta go. Angela? Nikki?
Yeah, I gotta go beat traffic. And I think Nikki's making something up there.
Look at this. We did this. We did all of this.